Choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold I-CAR certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Honey, would you hand me that chair leg, please?
The one from the mahogany dining room set or the oak chair from the living room set?
The oak ones. I think they smell better.
Here.
Oh, thank you. Feel that heat.
Honey.
Yeah.
Instead of burning the furniture in our house to stay warm, can't we just get replacement windows?
Honey, we've been through this. Those window companies subcontract the work out, and once they get started, well, good luck seeing them again.
Not if we use Renewal by Andersen. They only do windows, no subcontractors. Plus, they use certified master installers.
All they're going to do is go to a home repair store and pick something off the rack. Heck, I can do that. Oh, hand me that coffee tabletop, please.
No, they have in-home consultations, and they're 100% custom. Plus, they're energy efficient, low maintenance, and we won't have to burn any of our own furniture.
Okay, I'll call in the morning. In the meantime, do you still have that makeup table you had as a kid?
Not
it's
my
all
makeup
solid
table.
For a
wood.
perfect fit, call 605-341-7831. Renewal by Andersen of South Dakota.
Mr. Liquor in Rapid City would like to thank their customers for making last year an overwhelming success. Know that in 2026, Mr. Liquor will continue to provide the area's best selection of wine, spirits, and ice-cold beer with unmatched customer service. Look for even more exclusive Mr. Liquor barrel picks and rare allocated bourbons in the coming months. Plus, check out their Facebook page for monthly savings specials on your favorite brands. Thanks again for your business from Mr. Liquor South off Catron next to Walmart and Mr. Liquor West on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
League after the Browns hired Todd Monken to be their head coach earlier today. Former Ravens offensive coordinator beating out Nate Scheelhaus and Jim Schwartz for the job. Schwartz most recently was the Browns defensive coordinator, and reports out of Cleveland thought he could have been a front runner within the last 24 hours. He doesn't get the job, and now reports are saying that Schwartz has told those close to him he is not coming back under Monken's leadership. Former Patriots quarterback Tom Brady is defending his former coach Bill Belichick following Belichick's reported snub from the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I don't understand it. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, there's really no coach that should ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is completely ridiculous because people deserve it, and he's incredible.
Brady speaking with Seattle Sports earlier today. Patriots quarterback Drake May limited in practice today with a shoulder injury. Patrick Reed announced he's leaving Live Golf and seeking reinstatement to the PGA Tour. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Good Wednesday afternoon. The Nate Brown Show is back and ready. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live across the state. Fox Sports Radio. Welcome in on the radio side on your drive home. We appreciate you. It's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that, and we're ready to go. Fox Sports Radio, KWSN, Sioux Falls. Welcome in there. East River, also West River on Fox Sports Rapid City. Hope you're having a solid day today. Middle of the week, we got some things popping, so let's get to it. Best guest lineup here, no doubt, from high school to college to the pros. We get a lot to discuss. Remember where you can listen to the show and watch this show. We appreciate you making the show possible, so go to X and follow us at Nate Brown Show. Find us there at Nate Brown Show on X, and then watch us live. We're streaming live in studio, so welcome in there on X, wherever you're at today. Also, Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports streaming app. If you haven't downloaded it, check it out. Download it on your phone. You got Midwest Sports Plus, all the games across South Dakota, and the Nate Brown Show every weekday afternoon. And then the YouTube channel is up right now, saying hi to everybody. Subscribe to the channel, The Nate Brown Show. Search for it, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube, and subscribe. We'd appreciate it. Good to go on this Wednesday. What does it look like tonight? I said we got a nice lineup. We really do. We're going to stay in South Dakota. A couple of interesting storylines to follow. We'll talk to Kyle Courtney. He's the Rapid City Christian head boys basketball coach and activities director So he has an interesting perspective from the administration side, the coaching side of these basketball proposals that are coming forward for a meeting 1 week from today. We'll get into that. Kyle Courtney's coming up from Rapid City Christian, head boys coach on the hoop side and AD. We will go to Ken Belson, New York Times, NFL writer. We got Ken tonight. He covered the Patriots and that dynasty and all that stuff. Ken Belson's in from the New York Times. He's got a book signing tonight, but we got him on South Dakota Sports Talk Show first, NFL writer for the New York Times. Ken Belson live. Doug Ottewell's on Mile High Sports in Denver. Some fallout from the mess that the Broncos had on Sunday. Some fallout. Doug Ottewell is in from Mile High Sports, senior writer for Mile High Sports. And we'll go to Zach Borg tonight from Sioux Falls, high school sports broadcaster now for Midwest Sports Plus. Zach Borg is on talking SD Preps. Let's get you on if you want in. We'll do our best. 605-720-1067. Lock the number in. We'll try and get you on tonight. 605-720-1067. And the Barron's Wilson text line open and ready. Same number. If you can't call, you can text the show. We'll get to your text. A lot of people doing that, so that's great. 605-720-1067. Barron's Wilson text line is open for you. By the way, if you text in your answers to the question of the day, then we got you, and we're texting people free buffets. I mean, we're texting winners free buffets on this thing to the Pizza Ranch, locations at East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and in Brandon. The best buffet, no doubt, home of everyone's favorite buffet is the Pizza Ranch, so we got a free buffet on the Nate Brown Show, courtesy of the question of the day on the text line. So get the text line ready, 605-720-1067. Okay. Let's get into this today. Let's get in. I did a little South Dakota test. I did a South Dakota test. So basketball season's going on right now, right? We're in the middle of hoops. I love it. One of my favorite things. And here's what's happening next week, 1 week from today. So next Wednesday, they're going to have a basketball meeting for South Dakota and see if they're going to adopt any new proposals. And boy, there's some interesting proposals. I'm here to tell you that. There are some interesting proposals. So let me tell you the test I did for South Dakota. Now, this is just a social media test, so I'm going to, that's not the real world, right? At least I hope not. I'm going to bring this into the real world on the Nate Brown Show tonight as well. But here's the test I did. So this proposal came out last night. And I did a short segment on it because I said, well, nobody's going to go for this. I said, this is too extreme. It's just too unfair. And nobody's going to go for this, really. And so I did a short deal last night in the second hour. Okay, if you missed some of the shows, you can catch the Nate Brown Show podcast and catch Dan Swartos was on last night from PEER, the executive director of the Activities Association, all that stuff. So yesterday's yesterday, but I thought, well, I don't really need to, make it a question of the day because it's going to be so lopsided. It's not going to be that interesting. It's just going to be lopsided, and people are going to go against this, and that's going to be that. And I thought, you know what? Let's make it the question of the day tonight when it comes to a high school basketball proposal that is on the table for this meeting in South Dakota next week. And what is the proposal? I thought, I'm against it. I'm totally against it. And I thought most people would be like, well, you just can't do this. And so I'm going to throw it out. I did a little test on social media today. The proposal is any private school that has in a big market. Okay, I'm not going to go through every single line of the proposal, but just get this. It is targeting Sioux Falls and Rapid City, the two biggest cities in South Dakota, the two biggest markets. If you have a private school that has significant students, not super, super small like ADM of 30 or below, okay, you're not going to be hit by this, but if you have a private school in those two big markets, Rapid City or Sioux Falls, that they would automatically just move you up to play AA basketball. And I thought, well, hang on a second. So, no, this is a proposal for classifying private schools in South Dakota differently than what their enrollment says. Now, here's how ironic this is. We have to fight tooth and nail. We just got a battle. I'm going to die on this hill that enrollment shouldn't matter all the time. I'm trying to fight for like Douglas football to get a little shot here because they've won one game. It's like, forget their enrollment. They should be able to play in a smaller class. Yet here, this is so ironic. They're telling you, forget enrollment with the private schools. It doesn't matter. I don't care how small they are. They have an unfair advantage in the big markets, and so let's move them up to AA. Can you join me on this? How ironic is it? We look at football classes, and this team's struggling, and this team's really hurting, and we say, hey, their enrollment, man, look at their enrollment. They got to stay where they're at. Sorry. And then this basketball proposal today. Hey, they're telling you enrollment doesn't matter. Move up, St. Thomas More. Move up, Sioux Falls Christian. Hey, Sioux Falls Lutheran, really small school, right? Yeah, you got to at least go to Class A. Sorry, you're kind of getting things going, but you can't be Class B. You got to go Class A. And Sioux Falls Christian would go AA. St. Thomas More would go AA. Rapid City Christian would go AA. I'm going to have Kyle Courtney on the show tonight, see what he says. He's right there at Christian, head boys basketball coach and AD. So that's what this proposal said. So I said, well, we just can't ignore enrollment and then just totally just target the two biggest markets. And then the private schools saying, you just move them up. Sorry, guys. That's just the way it is. How can we do one thing in football? We're only enrollment, only focused on that. You can't move teams around. You got to do enrollment. And here's our proposal. This is for the basketball meeting. This isn't like going to the board of directors yet, but this is going to the basketball meeting next week. Yeah, forget enrollment. If you're a private school in the big market, Sioux Falls, Rapid City, you're going to AA. Sorry. And I said, this isn't really going to go that far. So let me, their rationale is the private schools are in those big markets. They have a weighted advantage. They can get the big populations. They can get the best players. And I think that rationale is flawed because it is open enrollment for all schools. And believe it, I understand. I'm kind of going against the public perception here. Like, it's easy to cheer against this school that wins and this private school has this advantage. And you say, these guys got everything going. I don't want them to have an unfair advantage. They shouldn't be able to, stay in this class because they have the big markets and they get the best players. I understand. I'm kind of going against people like cheering against the teams that win, the private schools. This isn't I don't want to, this can't be a private school versus public school thing, but that's what it's turning into. That's what it's turning into. In one instance, we want to just focus on enrollment. That we just hit our head against the wall. Only enrollment matters in South Dakota. And then here's our proposal saying that doesn't matter at all. So let me ask you the question of the day. Let's get to this so you can chime in on the text line. So for the question of the day, let me ask you, okay? The private school proposal, to me, isn't going to work. To me, that's to me. But what do you think of this proposal that would just automatically move certain private schools in Sioux Falls and Rapid City? Those are the two markets because they're talking about where there's big population and big schools, okay? They're saying they shouldn't be Class A. They should be Class AA. Is that too extreme? Just automatically do it. You just automatically, Sioux Falls Christian has won a ton, right? We know this. I mean, they're winning a ton. St. Thomas More had a run there back in the day, but it's not like they've been really dominant. Rapid City Christians had a nice run the last couple of years. Now it's not like they're dominant. They made the Class A boys tournament last couple of years. Nice team, but it's not like they're winning all these titles. We're just going to make them go AA. That's too extreme to me. That's just too extreme. Or do you think it is okay? A little society test. And I'm finding out people are just automatically saying, the private schools have the advantage. Let's move them up. I don't care. How do we get there? We got to have some rational thoughts here. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. Thanks for taking my call. It's a weird situation. I don't think all private schools are created equal, right? Like, I'm with you usually. Like, I would be on the public school side of things, but, like, obviously, like, if you're looking at Sioux Falls Christian and Rapid City Christian, I'm guessing that Sioux Falls Christian has a lot more money than Rapid City Christian, but I don't know that for a fact. I think there's got to be a lot of things that would be taken in. I definitely think Sioux Falls Christian could play AA. I don't think there's two private schools in Rapid City probably would be ultra competitive at AA. But
probably not. Not like ever. Yeah. Here's the thing I see it. Like, some of these schools can play AA teams, and they do. They play some AA teams, and they win. I don't think they're going to win enough and compete enough on a regular basis with the big, huge schools that are almost 10 times the size.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I think, like, probably where this is coming from is some of the bigger states where, like, you had, like, where I came from was Colorado, and so, like, you had Valor Christian, right? That's where Christian McCaffrey went to school. Like, like all those schools weren't as big attendance-wise, but they all played the highest level because they had, like, crazy money. They were recruiting people, kind of that thing. I don't think that's the situation in Rapid City. Is it the situation in Sioux Falls Christian? Possibly. It could be getting to that point, and then I could see that, but I don't think they could just lump everyone together.
No, I got you, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for getting in. Thanks for calling. So some people say, well, maybe just do Sioux Falls Christian. I'm getting some replies there. Just do Sioux Falls Christian. I mean, that sounds easy. Just do Sioux Falls Christian. Sorry, guys. I understand they've been really dominant, really good. I can't just do a proposal targeting Rapid City and Sioux Falls and lumping the private schools and saying, even if you're St. Thomas More, here's their ADM. You want to hear it? St. Thomas More, ADM. This is total average daily membership. These are students 9 through 11 grade. Okay? 128. 128. You know what Brandon Valley's is? Over 1,000. And all of the Sioux Falls Metro schools. So you're going to put St. Thomas More, 128, against over 1,000? Well, it's just basketball. You need a couple of good players, right? That's ridiculous. Sioux Falls Christian's bigger than STM, than Rapid City Christian. They are. But you're still talking 8-1 here. Population base. And so I can't do it. I cannot do it. So that's one proposal. That's going to happen next week. I don't think they're going to roll with that. You're going to make the private schools in the big cities move up to AA. I can't go down that road. The other one is, this is interesting to me. They're trying to have coaches do mandatory stats reporting. So if you followed this, there's this Go Bound, right? The Activities Association has Go Bound, and you can put stats on there, and it's really clean, and you got rosters, and you got all this stuff. Well, some coaches do stats, some coaches don't. And so there's states that have made it mandatory that coaches have to put in stats. Otherwise, they get like a letter if you miss one time. Then a little later, then you get another one. And then after that, get this. If the coach doesn't do the stats on the website, they get suspended for the postseason. That's another. I like stats. I'm a broadcaster, so I've been doing 26 years. I want stats. I wish I would have had stats like this. I had to do it old school. I had to email the coaches, and someone would get them over to me. I mean, all that. But this would make it mandatory for South Dakota basketball coaches to put their stats in. They give you like a 2-week buffer. It's like, hey, here's your 2 weeks. Get them in. If you don't, you get an email. You miss again, you get another reprimand. Then the third time, you're suspended for the postseason, including the state tournament. So are you telling me Dave Hollenbeck, what if he doesn't do the stats on this rule? He's going to be suspended for the state tournament? Coach, where are you? I didn't put in the stats. I'm out. Let's be careful with that. And I don't think it's that hard, but it's easy for us to say. We're fans, we're parents, we're broadcasters, we're this. We want the stats. I do want the stats. I guess you have to say, well, there's consequences. Otherwise, coaches will never put in the stats. If they suspending coaches over no stats, that's iffy. So I guess you got to just have your assistant. You got to have a good manager. Or some of these really small schools in South Dakota, these small schools, can they do that? Can they have stats? I mean, on a regular basis, you think they got a big staff or something like this to put in stats? So follow that one. So this meeting is 1 week from today. We're going to stay on this. The private school proposal for basketball, trying to move teams up in Rapid City and Sioux Falls to AA. I'm not buying that. I'm out on that. And then the mandatory stat reporting by coaches. It's okay. It's fine. I don't want any coaches getting suspended for a state tournament because of stats. Please. Let's go to the NFL. Ken Belson covered the Patriots. New York Times NFL writer. Bill Belichick, not in the Hall of Fame, at least for now. Ken Belson's thoughts coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Want to do more of what you love and earn cash back doing it? With a Visa Cashback credit card from Black Hills Federal Credit Union, it's possible. Earn 1.5% cash back on everyday purchases like gas and groceries, and use it to fund your shoe obsession, vinyl collection, or airline upgrade. Plus, spend $2,000 in your first 90 days and get a $200 cashback bonus. Learn more at bhfcu.com/cashback. Offer subject to credit approval. Other restrictions apply.
Mom, can we please go to Waitiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Waitiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Waitiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WaitikiWaterPark.com.
At Dakota Discount RV, we're in it for the long haul, just like you. Whether it's cross-country adventures, weekends by the lake, or family time under the stars, we're here to keep you rolling for years to come. While others are packing up, we're doubling down with dependable service, great prices, and the biggest selection in the region. Your journey doesn't stop here, and neither do we. Here tomorrow, here for every mile ahead. Visit us in Rapid City or Somerset or online at DakotaDiscountRV.com.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Chance of snow tonight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows dip down to about 22. Southeasterly winds around 5 miles per hour. High temperatures reach up to 40 tomorrow. Snow likely. Snow likely tomorrow night. Lows around 15, mainly cloudy skies. About an inch of snow tomorrow through Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 31 degrees.
This January, it's Mount Moolah Cadillac Jacks Gaming Resort. All month long, you can secure your claim of over $45,000 in cash and prizes. Join us every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. till midnight for drawings and payout cash prizes starting at $300 and piling up to $1,000 at midnight. Be at Cadillac Jacks for the Mount Moolah Grand Prize Drawing, where we'll give away $9,000 in cash and prizes. It's Mount Moolah, only at Cadillac Jacks Gaming Resort in Deadwood. How will your night play out?
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, just getting going on a Wednesday, the Nate Brown Show across the state. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Fox Sports Radio. We're live on KWSN Sioux Falls. Welcome in, Fox Sports Rapid City. Here we go. Go to Denver up next. Doug Ottewell's in, senior writer from Mile High Sports. A little fallout with the Broncos here. Sean Payton was in a mood. He was in a mood. All right. I didn't say that. That's what was just said today by one of the guys who got fired. He was in a mood. Oh, all right. Let's go to Ken Belson. Every day is Sunday. New book is out. We've had Ken on, and it's a great book. People have been talking about this, and I want to talk to him about the Patriots, Robert Kraft. I mean, it was part of this book, is Robert Kraft and the Patriots and the business side of the NFL. Every day is Sunday is the book. He's got an event tonight, but he's on tonight. New York Times sports writer. Ken, thanks for coming on. How are you?
Good. Thanks, Nate. Appreciate it.
I appreciate your time. So let me just get into your perspective on the Patriots, the dynasty, the 6 Super Bowls, Bill Belichick, and you've been a long-time guy that's covered the NFL. How did Belichick miss getting into the first ballot of the Hall of Fame?
Well, there's a couple of potential explanations. One is Spygate and Deflategate. The voters looked at that and said, not on the first pass. He deserves some sort of penalty for having been, part of it, or at least a coach when it happened. And those were 2 particular black marks, particularly Spygate, because that involved spying on another team, and Deflategate is somewhat disputed. So there's that aspect. There's another aspect which I think really, frankly, hasn't been focused on, but the voters have to pick no more than 3 players and 1 coach and 1 contributor. But they can only pick 3. So up to a mixture of 5 potentially. But there are voters who really feel like the priority should always be for the players and not necessarily for the coaches. Belichick's essentially retired from the NFL, and there could be a sizable portion. I've spoken to 2 voters today. There's a sizable portion of the voters who really just feel the priority should be, if we only have 3 votes, the players should get the lion's share of that. So it could be just a numbers game. And then, of course, there's the backstory about Robert Kraft wanting to get in as well, and whether there's some revenge going on. But right now, that's a little bit of speculation.
Let me ask you, do you think the Spygate, and you mentioned the Deflategate, but the Spygate, people say, well, that was a long time ago, and we have short memories. How big of a controversy was that for Belichick and the Patriots?
Oh, it was huge. First of all, they were penalized big time. There are certain rules in the NFL, many of them unwritten, frankly, about lines you don't cross. Now, every coach is looking for an advantage, but when you're out there literally stealing signs and videotaping it, I think that was considered too far a line to cross the line. And the other thing was the coach on the other side, the Jets, was Eric Mangini, who had worked with Belichick the year before and had witnessed him and warned him against doing it, and he did it anyway. So I think there was a sort of bravado or brashness about the way Belichick was perceived to have acted. The other thing was when Roger Goodell got a hold of the tapes, he destroyed them, which led to a whole bunch of other conspiracies about the league trying to cover up for Kraft. But it was a very messy situation. I think when it involves coaching, the game ball situation has been largely disputed about how much it actually helped, whether it was the weather. There's a whole other circumstances, and also the Patriots won by so many points. It's hard to say it was because the balls might have been deflated a little bit. They won, I believe, 45-7 that game. So I think that takes a little bit of a second back seat to Spygate.
I want to ask you, do you think Bill Belichick is not liked by a lot of voters?
Absolutely. Look, reporters are human. They like certain coaches more than others because they get access. They're talked to in a certain way or treated with some amount of respect. Rex Ryan was loved by reporters, win or lose. He was just a gregarious guy. He had a sense of humor. He seemed human. He had his foibles. He wore his heart on his sleeve. It's tough covering Bill Belichick. He doesn't open up much. He did at the beginning, but over the years, less and less, which created a really weird dynamic at the Patriots because Tom Brady didn't talk mostly out of school either, which left a lot of room for Kraft to fill. And whether Kraft wanted to fill it is another issue. But I think, normally it's the quarterback and coach who do the speaking for the team, and in many cases Robert did some of it. So it created a very abrasive, awkward dynamic in the press room each week. And, so absolutely, I think there's some there's no love there. There aren't many reporters I know who love Belichick. I think they respect him, but that's a very different calculation.
Ken Belson joining us a few more minutes, New York Times sports writer. His book is Every Day is Sunday. It's been out since October. You can get it right now. So I'm going to get to your thoughts on Kraft, a couple of things he just said. One more on the Belichick thing. Is the voting flawed, meaning you can only put one coach in here? I mean, you can only vote one coach. It's Mike Shanahan's not in. Belichick didn't get in this time. It's like, is that flawed?
Yeah, I think they're going to. I've heard they're going to change the formula next year. Now, remember, this is for the sort of contributors and the senior players. So, look, there's always a bias in these votes because there's recent bias. If you've seen a coach or a player play, you're more likely to vote for them than an older player. But who's to say some coach, Shanahan, who hasn't coached in almost 20 years now, maybe some voters don't know him as well. It's hard to hold up apples to apples. It's hard to argue Belichick doesn't get in. I mean, he's got over 300 wins, and but they'll make him wait. I would point out that Paul Tagliabue took many years to get in, and you talked about whether Deflategate was in the rearview mirror at this point. But I think the writers held against him the way he treated concussions, and that dates back to the 1990s. So he ended up waiting quite a few years to get voted in, even though he was a significant contributor, because I think the reporters, writers on that committee really held that against him.
Ken Belson's book is Every Day is Sunday. It's about the rise of the NFL on the business side and how this got done, from Robert Kraft to Jerry Jones to Roger Goodell. So Robert Kraft just said a couple of weeks ago, priorities for the NFL moving forward, Ken. 18-game regular season, and the goal is to have an international game every week for all teams. That seems like a business play.
Oh, absolutely. It won't be every week because there's 32 teams, so 16 games, so almost every week getting there. And probably if you get an 18th game, the union is going to want a bye week, an extra bye week. So now you're looking at essentially a 20-week regular season. But be that as it may, yes, this is, the NFL is like a shark. It has to keep moving to survive, and they're always looking at the next pot of money. Gambling is obviously a very big one, and international is huge. The game is growing in some ways slowly. We've got, 8 games overseas right now, 7-8 games. They repeat every year in London of 3 games. So they're slowly expanding to new countries, but frankly, they're getting to countries now where there's no football played. Spain, there's not a huge football population. Ireland has a little bit, but not much. So they're really starting to stretch the boundaries. But really what they're after is if they get an 18-week season with 1 game overseas almost every week, then they sell that package to Netflix, YouTube TV, companies that have global footprints, and that's going to be worth billions. And that's music to their ears.
How do you explain Robert Kraft doing what he's done again, meaning he has the dynasty, it goes away, Brady leaves, no Belichick. Now it doesn't take that long, Vrabel hired, and they're back in the Super Bowl. What is it about Kraft and how the Patriots have done it?
Well, I mean, you very rarely get second chances, right? I mean, Jerry Jones down in Dallas, he's joked about handing over a body part to get back to the Super Bowl. It's hard, every team, it's hard enough to build a dynasty, let alone sustain it, and then to have to go back again, it's super hard. I mean, the Broncos had some appearances in the 80s, and but then they finally got over the hump in 97, 98. But, then it took to 2016 to get back. So it's pretty tough. I think the formula, look, he got lucky with a good quarterback. Vrabel's a good coach. Offensive line protected him. And, they had an aggressive defense, as you can see during the playoffs. They played some really tight games. And they're relatively young. So they're not burdened with a lot of older contracts, which they had to shed over the years. Belichick, that was one of his hallmarks. He didn't hold on to players for long. But I think that's where the Kraft family in general, from the time they took over the Patriots, they've been very analytics-driven. They've been very focused on maximizing the cap money they have and generally not signing gigantic free agents the way, say, you see in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers, or the Jets spent a lot of money on him as well. You see teams really blow the bank. Jerry does it, right? He couldn't keep Micah Parsons. They've been very disciplined, and in fact, frankly, for all those years Brady was there, he kept taking pay cuts. Not pay cuts, but he had to, set aside money so they could build a team. And that takes a certain discipline in the owner's circle.
Really quick, does Harbaugh work for the Giants?
Well, as a beleaguered New Yorker, I'd say it can't get any worse. They've got some really good pieces, finally. Malik Neighbors was out with the injury, but he's a good receiver. Jackson Dart seems like he's promising. And I think, frankly, the players will respond positively to Harbaugh. He's got the pedigree. He's won a Super Bowl. He's, perennial playoff teams he's had in Baltimore. So I think the team will rally around him, and I think maybe they'll get free agents wanting to sign with the Giants that might have, taken a pass on it. I think they're going to be a contender next year.
Ken Belson in tonight across South Dakota. Get his book. Every day is Sundays, off to an event right now. NYTimes.com, sports writer. Ken, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Nate.
Appreciate it. NYTimes.com, sports writer, covered the NFL. The book is Every Day is Sunday. Ken Belson on live tonight here on the Nate Brown Show on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Every day is Sunday. Good stuff about the business and the rise of the NFL. All right. Good stuff there from Ken Belson. Good stuff. Listener text coming in on Bill Belichick not making the first ballot Hall of Fame. People are like, I can't believe it. This is unbelievable. And Colin Cowherd was like trying to be like, yeah, it's what it is. 44% winning percentage without Tom Brady. It's like, come on, guys. I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm not a Belichick fan. This, it seems odd. How's Mike Shanahan not in the Hall of Fame now? How's Bill Belichick not in on the first ballot? Come on now. I mean, this is where the sports writers start losing people. It's like the baseball thing. It's like, what are you doing? So, a little common sense here. A little common sense. Listener text, Bill cheated numerous times. That's part of his history. So they made him wait an extra year. Why is everyone getting their underwear in a bunch? Well, because it's common sense. Bill Belichick's one of the all-time great coaches. One of the all-time greatest. Right? Some people would say the greatest. You can have the argument or not, but so he's got to get in. Mike Shanahan should be in for the Denver Broncos. I mean, that's easy. And not just for the Super Bowls, but you got to think about the history of Mike Shanahan, the offense, the system, and what has happened in today's NFL because of that. So, I mean, people are missing that stuff. Let's see here. So, Belichick's not in. He'll be in shortly. He will be in shortly. I don't know if they're just going to wait a year or what. So, speaking of the process, we started the show today with some of these basketball proposals for South Dakota high school basketball. A lot of listener text coming in on this. Let's see here. I've got one that came in and said, at least the Activities Association is not taking proposals on 7 classes for basketball. Hey, don't mention stuff like that. Because we already got another SODAC 32 proposal. You know what that is, right? We got the SODAC 16 to get into the state tournament. But now for the Class A and Class B, they want to do SODAC 32. They want to seed it out, 1 through 32, 2 through 31. They want to play each other, and then get it down to 16, and then do it again. The SODAC 32. There's 2 proposals for the SODAC 32. It's just like, man, have we done this before or not? Anyway, so no 7 classes of basketball, at least not yet. Listener text on the coaches' mandatory reporting. Let's ask you this question. Do you actually believe coaches, high school basketball coaches, should be suspended if they have multiple violations of not reporting their stats? So that's what's in this proposal. If you missed the start of the show, we'll kind of be going over this stuff. Kyle Courtney's going to be joining us. He's Rapid City Christian head boys basketball coach and AD. So he's coming up. You don't want to miss that. A lot to discuss with him on the private school thing. And now this proposal that says coaches need to report their stats, implement them in this system, the Bound system, online, and you put them right in. And if they don't, if they have multiple violations, they could be suspended for the state tournament. And I go, my goodness, are we really going to do that? Are we really going to do that? Listener text, here's an idea. He said, if you don't suspend the coaches, what if we fined the schools for not posting the stats? We're getting so aggressive these days. So aggressive. I used to be stat boy. I was a 9-year-old manager back in the day. I used to do the stats. And so what if I forgot to report them? What if I had to put them in a system and I forgot, 9-year-old Nate, I forgot to put him in, and I got my state champion high school coach suspended. Ah! See what we're doing? Let's relax, everybody. Relax. I like stats, but suspending coaches, are you in on that? That's my question of the day. I'm going to get those results. Let's get some results on that. 605-720-1067 is our text line on the Nate Brown Show. Would you be willing to actually suspend a high school varsity coach if they didn't put in their stats numerous times? It takes like 3 times to get them suspended is what this proposal says. That's what Nebraska does. Oh, let's do what Nebraska does. Coming right back with Doug Ottewell from Denver. Sean Payton was in a mood, and I don't know what he's doing, but we'll talk to Doug from Mile High Sports.
This is South Dakota's Sports.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's your last chance to lock in 2025 pricing on our Acclaim replacement windows and ensemble entry doors. Get 20% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Pay nothing till 2027. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. If you've been thinking about replacing those drafty, outdated doors or windows, now is the time. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one, next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Your sports, your show. The Nate Brown Show is on. Thanks for making this show possible. Hope you're having a good week. Wednesday on the program, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Our official outfitter of South Dakota Sports Talk Show is the South Dakota-owned independent retailer, Trav's Outfitter. Find them online, travsoutfitter.com. If you work, man, you need some nice boots, I mean real deal stuff, they got the best selection, best prices, best relationship with their guys that they don't just like do the commission stuff. It's actual folks that want to build a relationship, get you into the right pair of boots. So work boots, Western boots, all the best brands, the best prices. You don't have to leave Trav's Outfitter wondering if, hey, did I make the right choice? They'll set you up really good. Experts in work and Western footwear. TravsOutfitter.com. Brand new store, Campbell Street in Rapid City. Best selection, best service, no BS. TravsOutfitter.com. Stop by, take a look. Campbell Street store in Rapid City. Really nice, brand new. Doug Ottewell's on tonight. Mile High Sports, Denver. Been covering the Broncos a long time. He's a fan. He's a journalist. Is he frustrated? We're a few days removed now. Doug, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing good. I know the Broncos lost, and I'm going to go over I was all upset about the 4th down and 1 call. I thought that was terrible, and so we'll get into that. But let's get into the news here. Joe Lombardi, that's Sean Payton's buddy. That's a buddy of his. Joe Lombardi was the offensive coordinator. He gets fired yesterday, and he just said on the record, Joe Lombardi said this about Sean Payton. He was in one of those moods where he felt like some changes needed to be made, and I guess he decided one of those was me. I mean, what's going on here? Sean Payton got in a mood. He fired the OC, the wide receivers coach, the corners coach. I mean, what's going on?
Well, I mean, your first gut, because everyone's understanding is that Sean Payton is the offensive coordinator.
Right.
Is that it's a fall guy move. We got to put some blame on somebody, but I think probably more than that, and this is still to be determined, but my read is that they're clearing way to make sure that Davis Webb doesn't leave. He's been linked to a lot of head coaching job interviews. Whether he gets them or not is kind of TBD. But my feeling, and I think locally kind of the behind-the-scenes feeling is that Bo Nix and Davis Webb are really tight. There was a preseason games where Sean Payton turned over play-calling duty to Davis Webb. The offense really worked well. I think Bo Nix really likes Davis Webb. I think if Joe Lombardi is sort of standing in the way and Davis Webb can't move up within the Broncos organization, and that's not just by title but financially too, I think that he's gone somewhere. I think, if he really wants to be a head coach, he could probably still do that elsewhere. But if what he really wants is a step up in responsibility and title to be an OC, and obviously get the money that comes with that, I think they're paving the way to do that in Denver. That's my guess. Like I said, we'll see. Davis Webb still could go somewhere, but at least that opens the door for him to move upward in Denver.
Here's where I think people have gone over their skis. Some people say, well, Sean Payton, he got rid of Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, and that doesn't matter much because Sean's calling all the plays and stuff. He's running the show. So Davis Webb, he's coming up, and Sean's going to want to keep Davis Webb so much that Sean might give up play calling. There's no way, is there?
I don't see that either, but maybe there's some kind of a middle ground there. And, because really I can't understand, like you said, Joe Lombardi's a friend. I know he's not calling the plays specifically. The only other thing I could potentially theorize is that his guys weren't ready. I don't know, the wide receivers coach, maybe being a part of the offense, those guys dropped a lot of balls. Maybe their practice habits aren't what Sean wants to see. Maybe their, the drills and the prep work that Lombardi or whatever, maybe they're not on par with what Sean Payton wants, but I don't know. This team was 14-3, and just because you lose a game with your backup quarterback in the snow, I think it's kind of hard to really pinpoint exactly why you'd clean house.
Yeah,
I mean, they're kind of cleaning house, at least on that side of the ball, like they, went 7-10,
Right. I want to ask you on this. Some people have thrown this around before the AFC Championship even, that Vance Joseph was, trying to get a head coaching job and maybe was in the running for some. Some people have said, I don't know if Vance is going to be coming back either way. I mean, what do you think about Vance and Sean Payton? I know they you watch them in games. Sometimes there's this, there's that. I wonder if Vance is back here as the DC.
If I had to guess, I'd say he will come back. He's a huge part of this defense, not just in terms of the X's and O's and the play calls and things like that, but I mean, he really helped build it in terms of the personnel that they needed. I know he's as big a part of those conversations when it comes to him and Sean and George Payton. I think he's a big part of this. I'm not so sure that Vance Joseph, wants a head coaching job unless it's the perfect exact fit head coaching job. I mean, if I'm him, and he's already had this experience in Denver where he basically was handed the reins in not a good situation. I mean, the ownership was in flux. The power still sat with John Elway. And he, it's hard to say if he was a good coach or not. I mean, he's definitely a good defensive coordinator, but, we don't really know if he could be a good head coach or not. And I would go as far as to say he doesn't know. And so when you talk about the job openings that kind of fit his profile, he obviously has ties to Arizona. There's all these different jobs, but, which one of them would you really want if you're him? Obviously, any job that's open is because the team's coming off a bad year, but I think there's a big difference between coming into an organization that has high standards and, guys within the league, they talk and they know which teams operate well and which ones don't. So I think it's a matter of that,
So you think
will he really, really want a job? And if he does, it's got to be the right one.
You think he comes back as D coordinator for the Broncos? That'll be interesting to watch. Vance Joseph. Doug Ottawill's on tonight from Denver. Find him at Mile High Sports. He's on X at D Ottawill. So Sean Payton has said you'll always have regrets. There's always regrets. But he won't go as far as saying, we should have kicked that field goal. And he'll never say it. He'll never say it. He said, well, I had a run play, and then I went to a pass play. That was the big mistake. No way. Field goal, 10-0. Where are you at?
Oh, I mean, that was the subject of my column following the game, is that, in those conditions, and I give Sean Payton a ton of credit for having all the confidence in the world, call it confidence, call it bravado, call it just blind faith in whatever it is that he wants to do. I think that you have to have that to some extent to be an NFL coach. And I think, what Sean Payton did or has done here in Denver, really, you look back and the moves that he made are full of that kind of confidence. You get rid of Russell Wilson with really no plan other than let's draft a quarterback. You draft a quarterback that falls all the way to Bo Nix, and most people are saying, I don't know. Right. He's not one of the first three off the board. What does Sean Payton know? Well, he knew a lot because he's gotten a lot out of Bo Nix. And then, you look at they're in the playoffs ahead of schedule with a rookie quarterback. They make it to the AFC Championship on a 14-3 record and the number one seed. Like, he's done so many things, and he has so much faith in his own abilities, it's hard to really blame him. On the flip side, if you kind of backtrack and look at where that's bit him in the butt, obviously the decision to go for it on 4th and 1. Yeah, the play call was crap, but you're up 10-0 and New England's on its heels, no doubt.
Yes.
But, I think it goes back further than that even. I mean, you bank on the fact that you bring in these free agents that all have, not all, but most of them have an injury history. And, you get limited time from Dre Greenlaw through the year. You get limited time and no playoffs from J.K. Dobbins through the year. There's a lot of, you draft Jahdae Barron, which I don't think that this is a discussion about whether Jahdae Barron is a good player or not. I don't really think we know. I think he probably is, but he literally was a really minimal contributor when, in retrospect, you could have used a number one receiver. You could have used a running back. You probably could have used a tight end. I want to say there was, all those positions, there was kind of that player available at any of those. Even middle linebacker, if you go that route and get somebody who's a young, athlete in the mold of Dre Greenlaw, but healthy, So I think there was probably 4 or 5 slots that you really, really needed on this roster. If not for anything but depth, you didn't need that much depth at cornerback. And if you did, for the most part, Jaquan McMillan picked up the slack. It wasn't Jahdae Barron. It's kind of one of those things where like his confidence, he's so confident in that offense that they picked a cornerback behind Riley Moss and Pat Surtain and Jaquan McMillan. So there's a lot of those little things where it's sort of like Sean Payton doesn't second-guess himself. And I don't think you can be an NFL coach and second-guess yourself very often. But if you go from, 4th and 1 and backtrack, call it a year, maybe a little more, there's a lot of decisions that he made that in theory might have won that game for him.
Doug Otto on tonight. His piece is up there at milehighsports.com, live from Denver. Broncos kind of firing some coaches and resetting a little bit after the tough loss on Sunday. And I don't know if our Broncos can get back there. We and you have been there before, Doug. We've been there. It is hard to get back there. I think people say it really easy. Oh, they'll be back. They got a 2-3 year window with Bo Nix. It's hard to get back. Doug, good to have you, man. I appreciate you. Thanks.
Anytime, Nate. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Doug Ottewill. Column is up at milehighsports.com on the Broncos and Sean Payton, the big decision on 4th down. And Doug takes a look earlier on of how this roster was put together as well on the offensive side. Broncos coverage with Doug Ottewill live tonight from Denver, milehighsports.com. Coming right back, an update on our question of the day. Couple of them when it comes to high school basketball. You want to suspend any high school coaches for not reporting stats on a mandatory basis? They were trying to take a chapter out of Iowa. Iowa does this. They use the bound system, and if you have any violations of coaches not reporting stats, you could get suspended for a postseason, for a state tournament. What do you guys say? We'll look at the results of the question of the day coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. a gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's your last chance to lock in 2025 pricing on our Acclaim replacement windows and ensemble entry doors. Get 20% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Pay nothing till 2027. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. If you've been thinking about replacing those drafty, outdated doors or windows, now is the time. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Kinds of VR. We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We're live on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome in. The Nate Brown Show featuring Kyle Courtney coming up. He's our guest this next hour. Rapid City Christian head boys basketball coach and activities director. So he's got both sides of this. And some big basketball proposals are out for South Dakota. They're going to talk about them at the meeting next Wednesday. So a couple of them got my attention. We'll talk to Kyle Courtney coming up, his thoughts from the basketball side and the AD side. Let's get your thoughts on this. One is, Kyle, if you don't report stats and you make 3 violations, you could be suspended. Kyle, do you know that? That's one of them. We're trying to take down the coaches that don't report stats is one of the proposals. Let's look at some of this. What are you guys saying? One of the proposals for the high school basketball meeting next week is we want to have coaches mandatory stats reporting. And so they would put them into the system, Bound. It's an online system. It's accessible, and then fans and parents and everybody can see them. So they'd make it mandatory, and if there was not just 1 violation or 2, but if there's like 3, then the rule would be in this proposal, you would be suspended for postseason play. And here's where I like stats. I would want stats. From the media side of this, I've been trying to get stats like this a lot. And I think it's informative and great for fans to be engaged and stuff and seeing that stuff. That's good stuff. But I can't go down the road of suspending coaches if Jimmy forgets to do it 3 times. I can't do that. I just can't do it. And I don't know what the answer is. We really have to threaten him with suspension from a state tournament to get him to put stats in? If we did this, what would you think of actually suspending a coach after multiple stat violations? 58% of my audience tonight on Twitter is saying, yes, I would be okay suspending him. Just report your stats. 58% of you want the stats so bad that you'd be willing to suspend a coach after multiple violations. 42% of you say, no, you can't suspend a coach on this. What do you say on the text line here on the Nate Brown Show in our question of the day? 605-720-1067 if you want to text us in. Let's see here. What we have this. There's some votes coming in. I found some of these. Listener text. I think some of these proposals for the Activities Association are being proposed for the same reason Bill Belichick isn't in the Hall of Fame. People that don't have power are flexing their muscles. Kind of pitiful. That's a hard hitter. Let's see. Patrick says, every school does stats on a laptop anyway. This is an easy ask. Jeremy chiming in. It's crazy to me you can't find stats online for every game. It's 2026. All right. I want the stats. Don't get me wrong. I do not want to suspend coaches if we have to go down that road. And I'm not quite sure exactly what the answer is. And maybe they'll vote for this next Wednesday, and then it'll come out of the basketball advisory and make its way to see if the ADs want to go down this road. But goal bound is where you'd find the stats, and the coaches would have to report it. 3 violations, you could be suspended for the postseason, including the state tournament. I can't have that. I cannot have that. Other question of the day tonight. What do you think of Rapid City and Sioux Falls private schools being moved up to AA basketball? That's the other proposal for next Wednesday's meeting. We'll talk to Kyle Courtney in about 10 minutes. His thoughts from Rapid City Christian side. They would be one of the schools that would be impacted if this proposal went all the way through. Is Sioux Falls and Rapid City, the private schools, they would say, you guys are going to go AA. Sorry, Rapid City Christian, your ADM, the average daily membership's only 161. 161 students. But you're going to be thrown in with the schools of over 1,000. Sorry. And that's my other question of the day. A lot of people chiming in on this. So let's get to some answers on this. Listener text. Do people think it's only private schools that are getting athletes? Schools in all classes are getting male and female athletes all the time. And I do agree with that. Let's see. Listener text. Don't forget, schools like West Central also have access to a good share of the Sioux Falls market in the open enrollment world. See, that is part of my issue with this, guys. We're acting like it's just St. Thomas More, Sioux Falls Christian, Rapid City Christian. Those are like the schools that come to mind. When actually there's Lenox, Del Rapids, West Central. I mean, they're all right in there, but they're not private, so it doesn't matter. You guys get to stay Class A. The private ones said, we're going to make them go AA. And I can't get on board with that. I cannot get on board with that. Let's see. A couple more answers. 605-720-1067. Listener text. Just go one class of basketball. Problem solved. What do you mean? Like go back to the old system where we had, what do we have? Just 2 classes. That was it. Remember, we did not have 3 classes. We had just 2 classes. That's difficult. North Dakota's done that. We're talking huge classes of basketball then, if you had 2 classes. He said 1 class. I think that's a little pushing that a little bit. Let's see. Listener text, I can see the score of the game, but why is it important that we know if Johnny went 4 for 22 from the field? Because we have to, if Johnny goes 18 of 22 from the field, we have to have that, and then we put it on Facebook. We say, look at Johnny. His stats is number 1 in the state. Look, and we put it on Facebook. It's cool. It's cool. Let's see. Listener text. Company making money off stats should kick coaches some cash to enter the stats. Hey, kick the coaches some cash to enter the stats. See, here's the thing. We think it's easy. Just put the stats in. What's your problem? We don't appreciate the coaches enough anyway. The time, the effort, the commitment, the whole thing. We just expect, just put the stats in now. So now what, if this goes through, the coaches are just going to have to make sure their assistants or their manager or whatever put the stats in so they don't get suspended after 3 violations. So some really interesting basketball proposals on the way to this advisory meeting next Wednesday. So we'll have more to discuss. How's this going to go? I'm not on board with either. I can't suspend the coaches. I want the stats. I can't suspend the coaches. Can't do it. And then the private schools in Sioux Falls and Rapid City getting unfairly targeted and just making them go AA. St. Thomas More has 128 membership, 128 kids. You're going to go AA there? Can't do it. 5 questions from Chris on a Wednesday night. Our loyal listener, Chris, sends me 5 questions. I think these will be fun to answer. Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Yeah, can I get the taco burger value combo? That's a value? I know it's a taco and a burger, but come on. Yeah, I can find a better value right across the street. No, not at the bait shop, at the gas station. I can get a South Dakota Lottery scratch game for as little as $1. You can actually win thousands of dollars. Almost enough to eat here.
Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly. How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Get ready for the biggest game of the year. The BetMGM Sportsbook at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort has everything you need for this monumental matchup with the Big Game Experience. Reserve your seat today and guarantee you and your crew have a spot to watch the ultimate championship in football. The Big Game Experience comes with a game day buffet, special games and giveaways, and $25 free play in the casino. Let us host your big game this year at the BetMGM Sportsbook at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort in Deadwood. Learn more at tinlizzy.com.
Shop the area's best selection of pre-owned Hondas and Honda certified pre-owned at Danny Mano Rushmore Honda. Get financing as low as 1.49% APR for 60 months on certified pre-owned Accords, CRVs, HRVs, and Pilots. Plus, shop a lot full of used imports and domestics. Virtually any make or model, including a great selection of all-wheel drives and 4x4s. See us at Danny Mano Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com. $17.31 per $1,000 finance, regardless of down payment, with qualified credit.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger? Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Honey, would you hand me that chair leg, please?
The one from the mahogany dining room set or the oak chair from the living room set?
Oh, the oak ones. I think they smell better.
Here.
Oh, thank you. Feel that heat.
Honey.
Yeah.
Instead of burning the furniture in our house to stay warm, can't we just get replacement windows?
Honey, we've been through this. Those window companies subcontract the work out, and once they get started, well, good luck seeing them again.
Not if we use Renewal by Andersen. They only do windows, no subcontractors. Plus, they use certified master installers.
All they're going to do is go to a home repair store and pick something off the rack. Heck, I can do that. Oh, hand me that coffee tabletop, please.
No, they have in-home consultations, and they're 100% custom. Plus, they're energy efficient, low maintenance, and we won't have to burn any of our own furniture.
Okay, I'll call in the morning. In the meantime, do you still have that makeup table you had as a kid? I mean,
Not
it's
my
all
makeup
solid
table.
For a
wood.
perfect fit, call 605-341-7831. Renewal by Andersen of South Dakota.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Second hour rolling tonight. The Nate Brown Show live, KWSN Sioux Falls, Fox Sports Radio, Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome in across the state. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, where it's always a great day in South Dakota. Book it. We've got Kyle Courtney tonight. Coming up next, Rapid City Christian head boys basketball coach. He's the AD at Rapid City Christian. A lot to discuss with him about these basketball proposals. Want his take. By the way, he's got a proposal as well. Yes, Kyle Courtney from Rapid City Christian has an interesting proposal I'm going to ask him about the season. He wants to change the season a little bit. We'll get to him. Zach Borg's on the way from Midwest Sports Plus, high school sports broadcaster live from Sioux Falls. Zach Borg is coming up. All right, we got a lot to hit tonight. The Nate Brown Show powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union, my family's banking partner. I've been telling you about this. It's not just, I don't just talk out of turn here. It's my family's partner. We do all the stuff through them. Got the mobile app on our phones. We get great rates, personal, business, vehicle loans. It's all right there at bhfcu.com. I encourage you to become a member. Best in technology and convenience, bhfcu.com. Start there, become a member, and experience the advantages at Black Hills Federal Credit Union. 18 locations from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. Start at bhfcu.com. Give them a shot. We made the switch. Best thing we've done when it comes to our banking partner. Okay. It's a Wednesday, and I'm ready for this.
It's time for 5 questions from Chris on the Nate Brown Show.
Chris, how you doing today? Thanks for sending them in. Our loyal listener, Chris, sends me 5 questions from Chris. Question 1. It was announced that 2 sponsorship patches can be allowed on college jerseys now for this next year. These patches can't be larger than 4 inches. It's estimated some of the big programs could make $8 million a year off these advertising patches. Nate, do you think there's too much money flowing into college sports, turning off or losing any fans? No, people are tired of the unlimited money stuff, the NIL and players getting this and players leaving and breaking contracts and all that. People are getting tired of that. But as far as the advertising patches, I don't think people care. I really don't. I mean, it used to be sacrosanct. It's like Wyoming, for example, you just had the bucking horse, the gold and brown. That's what you had. I don't think, this day and age, people are like, if you can get money from somebody else and not me, take it. So if you can sell your naming rights to the field, take it. The stadium, take it. The jerseys, take it. I don't think people worry about that much. So what are we going to see on the college jerseys? You'll see it coming up. Question number 2. NBC will begin their Sunday night basketball. And then they'll go right from Sunday night NBA basketball into Sunday night baseball. Do you think that we could see people getting plugged in on a destination night to create something for sports broadcasts? Will that help network TV? Can this be a thing? Destination night, Sunday night basketball, Sunday night baseball. Could we have a 52-week sport night? I don't know, Chris. I mean, I like it, okay? So I want to know where I can watch stuff because everything's so fragmented. I mean, it's just bad now. It's Nebraska's playing Michigan last night. It's like, you got to get into Peacock. Well, thanks a lot. Just put it on a deal so I can watch it. So everything's fragmented. So Sunday night NBA basketball, I like that. Sunday night baseball, yes, during the summer. I mean, I like that. Is it destination? Will it help over-the-air networks? It could. It actually could. People want ease of access and everything streaming here and there, and you got to go to this app and that app. I think this helps. Sunday night NBA basketball starting up here shortly. Question number 3. By 2031, open-air football stadiums will be a minority then in the NFL. 7 new stadiums being built will be enclosed, including the Broncos. After Sunday's snow game in Denver, people were talking about the weather impacting the game. Do you think owners would ever give up a chance to host the conference championship game, put it at a neutral site, maybe an indoor stadium? That's one thing I don't think will happen. You're not gonna take the championship games away from the home field. No way. No way. So I thought you were going to ask Chris, do you want the indoor stadiums? Is that what you want? And I'm going to die on the hill. Are you ready? Are you ready? I wanted that game in Denver to be indoors. I don't want the blizzard out of the Rockies ruining my Broncos' chances. That was a mess. That was a disaster. So indoor stadiums for big games, I'll take it. You know who doesn't mind that? The guys on the couch watching saying, hey, this is fun. It's a blizzard. This is fun. Get out there and watch the game. I'm old. I want nice weather indoors. Make the plays, not the weather impacting the game. Okay? Sorry. Question number 4. 2026 Winter Olympics getting ready to start. Just like Paris before it, there's been some mayhem leading up to the games. Ice broke apart in a test event. Popularity in the Winter Olympics never as strong as the Summer Games. Do you think the Milan Games average at least 20 million viewers a night? NBC, Winter Olympics, 20 million viewers a night. I'm going to say not quite. Not quite. We'll see. I mean, you start getting, that's some big numbers. Paris Games, summer, averaged over 30 million. So can the Winter Lab? I might be able to get that. It's going to be tough, Chris. 20 million a night. We'll see how big. I like the Olympics. I don't like having to record stuff and watch it, though, and that's how this is going to go. It's like it's all going to be during the day, and then we're going to watch recorded stuff back. And, can we get more figure skating, please? I want figure skating in prime time. Anyway, question number 5. As a proud Denver Broncos fan, how worried are you about what Sean Payton said about Bo Nix? That he was going to break his ankle sooner than later because he's had some issues. Are you worried about Bo Nix and his ankle injuries? No, I'm not really. We got 2 to 3 years with Nix on a rookie deal. He'll be back. They said the surgery went well. I'm not worried about Sean Payton, what he said about Bo Nix. You know what I'm worried about, Chris? That Sean Payton gets too cute. I know it's been 3 days since the tragedy, but Sunday was a mess, and Sean Payton gets too cute. That's what I'm worried about. 5 questions from Chris in the books. Kyle Courtney from Rapid City Christian, head boys basketball coach and AD on some big basketball proposals coming up in a week. We'll talk to him about it next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's your last chance to lock in 2025 pricing on our Acclaim replacement windows and Ensemble entry doors. Get 20% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Pay nothing till 2027. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. If you've been thinking about replacing those drafty, outdated doors or windows, now is the time. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street, featuring 4 full courts for basketball and volleyball. E3 Sports Complex is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
All right, welcome in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. The Nate Brown Show is on KWSN, Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. If you missed parts of the show, a reminder, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. It's available there on all the platforms, really. We got it up on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Wherever you get your podcast, just search the Nate Brown Show. If you want to hear South Dakota interviews from high school to college to the pros, we got you covered. The Nate Brown Show podcast readily available. You can download it on demand, listen in the morning, listen walking your dog. We got a guy that walks his dog and listens. That's a beauty right there. That's a beautiful day. That's a beautiful day. Kyle Courtney's on tonight. Appreciate his time. He's the head boys basketball coach, Rapid City Christian. He's had this program really rolling. A couple of state tournaments last couple of years, really good. He's the AD at Rapid City Christian as well. So I want to talk to him about some of this basketball stuff coming up 1 week from today. It's a basketball advisory meeting. Some proposals on the docket. One is from Coach Courtney here. Coach, welcome in. How are you?
Nate, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it. I know you're busy. You got practice. You got all that. So thanks for coming on. I think people want to hear what's happening in hoops. And you guys have a proposal, by the way. Let's start with this one. You're thinking about, hey, let's add more games. Right now, teams play 20. 20 games is what's allowed in South Dakota high school basketball. You want to take that to 22. Where'd you come up with it? Why do you want to play 22?
Well, I've coached in a few other states, and I grew up in Iowa, and so I've been around a little bit. I just feel like South Dakota's always been low on their number of games, and you know, I know that I've gone to some of the AD conferences over the years, and there would be ADs that even want to move it back to 18 games, and I'm just like, personally, I think that's crazy, but I just feel like we can probably all remember when we were kids and we wanted to play games. I mean, you know, you practice so you can play games, and I just think it'd be very easy to do within our calendar, and I feel like it's time. We've been at 20 games for a long time. I think we're one of the lowest in the entire nation as far as the number of games that we're allowed to play, and I just think it would be very easy to do to add 2 more games within our current calendar. We don't have to change the calendar.
Okay.
And I just know as an AD with scheduling, I just don't think it would be that difficult to do, and I think it'd be great for kids.
You think why do people? You said some people wanted to even play less. Why is that? Are people worried about getting in the games? Is it getting enough officials? What would that be?
Yeah, I think it boiled down to just doing the work probably to find more games.
Okay.
And I think that was part of it for some of the ADs, and I think too is some people say, well, I don't know who else I'm going to get. But in some of the places I've coached, you played a lot of people twice. So I don't think that's the end of the world either. A lot of times in a lot of conferences, you play home and away. So, and the beauty of this is you don't have to play 22 games if you don't want to, but for the people that would like to play a couple extra games, it gives them the ability to do that.
How would you go about it if you had 2 more games? Maybe it would change for you. Would you try and play who? Would you want to play another Rapid City Public School? Would you want to do a home and home with somebody in the conference? What would you do?
Well, I think in our case, it probably would allow us to play in, maybe pick up another classic, or like you said, to maybe do like a Rapid City Classic where you could play, Central and Stevens, and maybe pick up a good team from out of state. It just gives you a lot of possibilities and a lot of flexibility.
So Kyle Courtney and Rapid City Christian going to bring this proposed change to the basketball advisory meeting next Wednesday, going from 20 games to 22. We'll see where that discussion goes. While I have the Rapid City Christian head boys basketball coach and AD, there's a couple of them that jumped out to me. One is the private school discussion. So this is a big proposal. Private school in a big school district like Rapid City, like Sioux Falls. They would push you up to AA. Now, I don't know how this would play out, but a Sioux Falls Christian would go to AA. St. Thomas More would go to AA. I think you guys would too. You're at Class A, and you'd be in one of these markets with big ADM schools. What do you think of this? What do you think people are trying to do?
Well, I think you see it in other states. It's been pushed in other states that they just feel like the privates have a unfair advantage. Being in a bigger town, and you can draw. Obviously, I would be against it. I understand that it's probably aimed at a Sioux Falls Christian, but there would be some collateral damage. You've got your Aberdeen Roncallis and, like you said, us and St. Thomas More. And, I mean, man, even look at Sioux Falls Lutheran. They're a Class B school, Would that mean they've got to go play AA? I understand what the sentiment that's behind it. I just don't think South Dakota this applies to very well. And I know that some other states have tried to push that. And it's aimed at recruiting. And listen, if you're a good private school around the country, you're probably going to get accused of recruiting. Some people do. Most private schools don't. And I think in South Dakota, if you talk about transferring, you probably see a lot more transfers going from public school to public school than you see transferring to a private school. But it's an interesting proposal. Obviously, I would hate to see that happen. I just don't think a school our size or St. Thomas More size has any business being at a AA level.
Here's the thing. I had a private school coach. He was an assistant coach in a sport, and he said, we lost players from our program to the public schools. He said, this goes both ways. But I think a lot of the folks think, well, no, everybody goes to the private schools. And I've seen it myself. I've worked at a private school. It goes both ways.
It does, absolutely. And most of our kids here at Rapid City Christian are kids that have come up through our program, our middle school program. So we're getting very few transfers in each year. But it does go both ways. And you got an awful lot of transferring going on just overall from school to school. So it's not a private school thing.
Okay, I looked at your ADM 9 through 11 total, girls and boys, 9 through 11, your new ADMs, 161. So this would put you in a 161. It'd put you in to a AA level. There's teams over 1,000, 10-1. So you guys could maybe play these teams, and you're going to play. You played Stevens. You've played teams like this. Could you do that on a regular basis? I'm talking for a state title.
Yeah, if you had a pretty exceptional group of kids, that you could probably compete. But you just talk about on a year in, year out basis. It's just the grind of a 20-game season or so going against a AA level. That would be terribly hard for somebody our size.
Kyle Courtney on tonight from Rapid City Christian, head boys basketball coach here on the Nate Brown Show. One more thing. There's a mandate on coaches to report stats. So you said I've been in Iowa. Iowa does this. They got this go-bound system. They make coaches report their stats or programs, whoever it is, and they put the stats in, and it's mandatory. And if they have repeated violations, a coach could get suspended. So that's the proposal for next Wednesday. What do you think? Mandatory stat reporting from you?
I like it. I actually like it a lot. Like you said, Iowa's done it for a lot of years, and I'll speak for myself. I don't put stats in on Max Preps or anything because it's not mandatory, and I'm not going to give somebody some free scouting opportunities, right? But if it was mandatory and it was across the board for everybody, I think, it'd be great. I think it'd be great for the kids. It'd be great for, those kids that want to go on to college and people can follow it. But you just need to you just got to make it even for everybody. So I think this is a great way to do it. And like you said, Iowa's been doing it for years and it works really well. I'm in favor of it.
Okay, so that's interesting. I was sticking up for you coaches. I said, oh boy, if you forgot 3 times, you'd get suspended for the state tournament. I can't have that, coach. I can't have you suspended for state tournament if you forget stats reporting.
Well, that's a good point. I think you can back off on the penalties there. That seemed a little stiff, but you probably got to have something a little bit behind it. But yeah, suspending people for a state tournament, severe. Let's look at the penalties there and maybe change that. But as far as the premise, I like the premise of it.
Okay, one more thing on the process. Do you think it would be rather easy? Some people, with the technology, I know each program maybe uses this system and that system. Is this fairly easy if you have somebody in charge of reporting the stats and putting it in the system?
It really is. I feel it's pretty easy. I think about every program, does their stats, keeps it up, compiles it. I've got my brother who's our assistant coach is awesome at that. He keeps all our stats. And people use Huddle a lot now, to keep their stats, with the Huddle Assist program and stuff. So I really think it's pretty easy to do that. I know it's another thing for coaches, but, I think it's a great thing for the kids. It's a great thing for the fans. And it's great, it's good for kids that want to go on and play in college, the recruiting side of things, and I really don't think it's that difficult.
Last one for Coach Kyle Courtney, Rapid City Christian head boys basketball coach. I've told you your team the last few years has been really, really good. You guys are battling here. New players, how do you feel about where you're at here in January?
We've been really up and down this year. Just like you said, new group, just having to learn some maturity, having to learn how to play night in and night out at the varsity level. But I've been really pleased here the last week and a half, 2 weeks. We've been playing much better. We just got Lars Kiefer back. Lars was our 6th man last year, and he got hurt at the end of football and missed the last 3 games of football and has been out since then with an ankle injury, and we just got him back 3 games ago, and he's just given us a lot of leadership, just a lot of toughness, and I'm excited about that, and I hope that we're trending in the right direction. We need to find some consistency. We're traveling over on Saturday to play Madison in a classic over at their place in that DAC-12 Northeast Conference kind of classic. And so that'll be a good test for us. And we've got a game coming up with Makpia-Luta next week. It's going to be a big one. So we're just hoping we can keep building and find some consistency in our play.
Trying to turn the corner, about a month left for Rapid City Christian. By the way, the State A tournament, you're going to try and get in that thing. It's in Rapid City. The AA tournament's going on at the same time. What do you think, 2 tournaments in the same building at the monument there?
Well, it'd be great to have it in Rapid. It's going to be interesting with with both of those arenas going, but I think it'll be a lot of fun, and hopefully it'd be great for the fans. Opportunity for people in Rapid to come out and watch a lot of good basketball during those 3 days.
Kyle Courtney joining us tonight. A lot to discuss on the basketball side. He's the head coach for the Comets and the AD at Rapid City Christian. Coach, good luck to you, man. We'll talk to you again. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, Nate. Have a great night.
Appreciate it. Kyle Courtney on the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota on Fox Sports Radio. Rapid City Christian. He's done a nice job there. Head boys basketball coach and AD for the Comets. Interesting. So he said he'll report the stats. But he doesn't want to get suspended. Okay? So we got to think about a penalty there. What are you guys going to do to penalize those coaches that don't report the stats? Maybe what they'll have to do is, have to report them to Matt Kearney, and then he can blast them or something like that. We have to put them out on the street. I forgot to report the stats. And put them out with a sign on the street. I'm the head coach at Mitchell, and I forgot to report the stats. Wonder what Coach Munson would think of these mandates back in the day. Coach Munson, hey, Coach, you got to report the stats. Huh? Good luck. Zach Borg's on next from Sioux Falls, high school sports broadcaster for Midwest Sports Plus.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's your last chance to lock in 2025 pricing on our Acclaim replacement windows and ensemble entry doors. Get 20% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Pay nothing till 2027. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. If you've been thinking about replacing those drafty, outdated doors or windows, now is the time. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome in the Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls. Thanks for checking in with us. We appreciate it. Wednesday edition of the program. We're on Fox Sports Rapid City as well. We're on Midwest Sports Plus right now. You have the new app, high school sports coverage across South Dakota with great play-by-play guys like Zach Borg, Midwest Sports Plus. This show live right now with Zach Borg, covering high school basketball. Zach, welcome in. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I got to appreciate being called great. I still think I'm working my way up to that point, but yeah, very busy. I got Dakota Valley and Sioux Falls Christian tomorrow, and they'll be calling the DAC 12 NEC Boys Shootout Clash. I think they're calling it now up in Madison here on Saturday.
I like it. So we got a lot of things popping here in basketball, and I'm going to ask you about this season. I want your thoughts on a couple of things, though, from the basketball advisory meeting that's coming up 1 week from today. Now, this is a big one here. There's a proposal that says any private school in one of the big school districts, it's basically Rapid City and Sioux Falls, any private school in there that has enough enrollment, it's not really, really small, like 30 kids or less, they're going to go up to AA. AA. So Sioux Falls Christian would be in there. Rapid City Christian. I just talked to their head coach, Kyle Courtney. St. Thomas More. That put them into AA if this proposal got legs next Wednesday. What do you say about this? People talk about it a lot, Zach. They're trying to say, hey, Sioux Falls Christian's winning too much.
I think there's some points that are fair. I mean, Sioux Falls Christian, I think there was kind of a thought they were going up. I think they're AA now, and there was a thought they were going to go up to AA in a couple of sports last year. So, I mean, in O'Gorman, technically, and like in football, they choose to play up at 11 AAA. They could actually play down if they wanted to. I think it's an interesting thing to make them have to go. I think I would think a school like Sioux Falls Christian at a point is going to want to try AA because they have won so much at this level. But I don't know offhand the enrollments of Rapid City Christian and St. Thomas More, and
I do. St. Thomas More had 128, 9 through 11, girls and boys. 128 at St. Thomas More, 161 at Rapid City Christian. They'd be in AA with teams over 1,000.
Yeah, I think that's a little much. I mean, if these schools decide they want to do that, then I think if it's there should be an optional thing maybe for it, but I think that's a lot. Obviously they'll probably extend eventually to Sioux Falls Lutheran, who's still kind of growing too. But I think the common thing I keep hearing every time I do any kind of story on anyone related to a private school is, well, they're recruiting, and I sometimes I think the schools sell themselves as much as anything, but I don't necessarily think it's as pervasive a thing as we give it air for, because again, Sioux Falls Christian's had a nice run, but they haven't won the title every year. I mean, maybe more so in volleyball. I can think they've had more of a dynasty there, but a lot of these private schools, it's not like O'Gorman, O'Gorman was more of a power decades ago than they are now. So if they are recruiting, it's not like it's giving them a significant advantage against the rest of the field. And we're seeing, we see it in A, we see it in B. It's not always Sioux Falls Christian winning. At the end of the day, it just kind of comes down to the players you have. West Central could well win it this year, a year after they just changed coaches. So I don't know. I think that's kind of an interesting thing to make, especially some of these smaller. I think Sioux Falls Christian should really be thinking about it because they have been competing at such a high level. Challenge yourself at the AA level and see what happens. But I think for some of the other ones that are that small with that small of an enrollment, I think that's a stretch for some of those Rapid City private schools. And there might be other private schools we're missing out there, too, that could eventually have to do this.
Zach Borg on tonight, high school sports broadcaster for Midwest Sports Plus. He's got all the games, great coverage across South Dakota. One more on this advisory meeting. The one proposal says we're going to make it mandatory for coaches to enter stats into GoBound. So mandatory stat reporting by coaches. And if you have a third violation, you could be. Oh, so you like it. Coach told me he likes it. But here's the thing: if they have 3 violations, the coach is suspended for the postseason, including state. Are we going to go that far?
I mean, I hate to go that far, but you also have to do something to kind of make them. there has to be something that actually makes them do it, or they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. I mean, and look, nobody cares about me. I mean, every time I do a game or a tournament like I'm doing this weekend, or an event like this, I shouldn't say it's a tournament. You have to email the coaches, and some of them don't always have the full record. So,
sure.
And I think it's a thing where it also helps the players who are being recruited. And, the Bound software, from my understanding, is pretty easy to plug in. You look at Iowa, who uses it. I mean, their database is really extensive. So, I get it. It's a bit of a hassle, especially if you're I think there needs to be maybe a little leeway, because some of these Class B schools probably aren't all that, maybe don't have the technological wherewithal to do it right away, but got a little bit of a grace period. Maybe not that you have to enter it immediately the next night, but, get it updated by the end of the week or something.
Well, they're giving them 2 weeks, so they got a grace period like every 2 weeks. You get a grace period, you report it. I just said, hey, let's be careful suspending a coach. It said third offense, head coach suspended for including the state tournament. Come on.
I think that's a little much. I do think you have to try and put something in there that actually does get them to do it, because I've heard that kind of reported all around, like, well, how are you going to make them actually do it? I mean, that's pretty harsh. I think that would probably get them on their P's and Q's, but I don't know if you want to actually put that into play if we're in a situation late in March. So but maybe you suspend them for a game or something. I don't know. I think the whole state tournament's much.
Zach Borg on tonight. Let's talk about some hoops before I let you run. Sioux Falls Lincoln boys still dominating. Is anybody close?
I don't really know right now. I called the Huron game last week. I think Blake Elwine's really good. I mean, I know we also had them on last night with the Throwback Classic against Mitchell, and it just amazes me the guy plays guard, because he is 6'10". It's a legit 6'10", and he handles like a guard. He can also play the post, but they have as much size as anyone in the state. I mean, they run a couple guys who are 6'5" and above, but Lincoln is just so deep. In that game with Huron, Brody Knorr, who's not really one of their star guys, he put in 21. I mean, they had guys coming off the bench who I think had double figures. It's just, even if the main guns like the Erickson and DeGroat and Schaefer are off, and they have like a couple other guys they can bring off the bench who are going to get you. So I don't know that anyone has their depth. I think, Roosevelt to me is maybe the one. I know they lost by 19 earlier at the President's Bowl. I think Roosevelt has some, with Mitch Begeman, he's going to run you up and down the floor. So that's going to be a treat to watch. I think Roosevelt in a one-game situation, because that's the key. We're talking over the long haul. I think Lincoln's the better team, but you're only talking about one game in the tournament. So in one game, could Roosevelt get on a run you up and down the court, and maybe get something going? Sure. And, even with Huron's size, I think they can make some things happen, but it's really tough to see anybody being able to beat Lincoln with the depth that they have.
Zach Borg giving us a report. Basketball advisory meetings next week. He's got some hoops this week. Midwest Sports Plus. Download the new app. Find him on X at IceBorg.
And I will say, please no Sodak 32, for the love of God. Let's
I was
that out at the end.
I was going to save that for you, so just hang on. We'll do it again. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Spin that one. Take it easy.
See ya. Zach Borg on tonight, Midwest Sports Plus, high school sports broadcaster doing play-by-play of high school hoops on Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports streaming app. Who's hot and who's not? He might have just mentioned it coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Text scams continue to rise, and victims who have lost money to these scams continues to increase. Consumers cannot rely on a text message to be truthful. If you receive a message regarding a fine for missing jury duty, your utilities being shut off for non-payment, toll road fines, or you've won a sweepstakes, these are scams designed with an urgency and the need to send money now. Do not respond to these texts, and you should contact Consumer Protection at 800-300-1986. That's 800-300-1986 for the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division.
Hey, volleyball families, get ready to serve up some fun at the Wautiki Spike-tacular Volleyball Tournament, February 13th through 15th at the Box Elder Event Center. Experience high-energy matches, glow-in-the-dark games Friday night, and exciting play all weekend long. Compete in 14U, 16U, or 18U divisions for a shot at the trophy. Stay and play with 25% off rooms at Courtyard by Marriott and water park passes included. Register now at thebox.live.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Chance of snow tonight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows dip down to about 22. Southeasterly winds around 5 miles per hour. High temperatures reach up to 40. Tomorrow, snow likely. Snow likely tomorrow night, lows around 15, mainly cloudy skies. About an inch of snow tomorrow through Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 29.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, let's roll on a Wednesday night. Thanks for checking in with us tonight. We had Ken Belson, NFL writer, New York Times, Doug Ottewill from Denver, Mile High Sports, Kyle Courtney, Rapid City Christian Boys Basketball and AD, and Zach Borg tonight. Big show from high school to college to the pros, from South Dakota and beyond. The Nate Brown Show live tonight, and our podcast going up right after we're done. Who's hot and who's not right now? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Stop by East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Great location in Brandon as well. Everyone's favorite buffet is at the Pizza Ranch, locally owned and operated. Stop by. In my Who's Hot category, you remember Jason Williams, a Jason Williams sighting. Point guard, Sacramento Kings, one of the popular guys. He just had a game-worn jersey. Like, there's hardly any Jason Williams stuff out there. His game-worn jersey from 1998 just sold for $140,000. Jason Williams. I never thought we'd talk much about Jason these days. Loved watching him play. And in his rookie season, he had top 5 jersey sales. And now $140K got a Jason Williams worn jersey in 2026. At our Pizza Ranch, who's not tonight? 2 Sodak 32 proposals. There's 2 of them now. Please stop. Just stop. We'll see you tomorrow on the Nate Brown Show.
It seems like the cost of everything is going up, so it's nice to save a little dough when you can.